Hello, my name is Seb and welcome back to the channel. Today I'm going to be covering a couple of DeFi dApps on Solana that I think are worth my time and could be worth yours. Before we dive into them, just keep in mind this is just educational content, nothing is financial advice, and you could lose money with these particular protocols. However, having said all that, let's dive in and let's learn about them. Now, the first thing that I'm just going to cover is we're going to be doing essentially what's called DeFi farming. And if this is a brand new term for you, then I'll link this playlist below. This is from my friend Theodore at Whiteboard Crypto. And there's a couple of good ones that are worth kind of jumping into, such as what is yield farming in crypto? And there's another one down here, Uniswap version 3 explained concentrated liquidity. So let's first dive into Kamino Finance and we'll go from there. So we have Kamino Finance, and this is their Twitter. app.kamino.finance is their website. So let's click on that. And let's go ahead and connect our wallet. I'm going to go with backpack, accept these terms and confirm. Now this tutorial is just going to be done in one whole piece, so the timestamps will be below, but also if you know what you're doing, just use the 1.5 times speed or 2x speed to whiz through the sections where I just talk about stuff that you're already familiar with. So when we have a look at this protocol, what we want to do is we want to go and what I'm going to be doing for this bit of the challenge is change the sort by TVL to APY. For this particular tutorial, I'm only going to be going with blue chip strategies. So what I'm referring to there is US dollars and Solana, or US dollars and staked Solana as an example, as opposed to we'll do a degen one with some altcoin like RLB as an example in another tutorial. But for this one, I'm just going to keep things nice and relaxed. So this one here is currently earning an APY of just under 100%. So let's see how much we can earn. Let's see if there's anything else quite juicy in this as well. There doesn't seem to be. So let's go into here. So just if you're unfamiliar with DeFi farming, and if you haven't looked at the other videos I sent, completely fine. What you can do is you can go click on try your knowledge, and you can go through this quick little quiz. But essentially, we're going to be providing two assets, USDC and Solana, into the protocol. It's going to go through their smart contracts, so it's going to execute different things. People are going to use these two funds to basically buy and sell when they want particular tokens. And then there's a small fee every time someone actually does a trade. We'll capture a percentage of that. And then what can happen though is there are a couple of risks involved. The first one is smart contract risk, where there's something that's exploitable by a hacker. I think we're going to be pretty safe here, but that's just my view, not financial advice. The other thing is if say Solana crashes, and a lot of people start selling Solana, then you'll end up with a lot more Solana and not as much USDC. Or if Solana moons, you'll end up with a lot more USDC normally. Quite often over the long run, they can somewhat balance out, but it's not always the case. So for this first thing, we're just going to have a trial, and then we're going to check on the progress in the next couple of videos, and then we'll cover them more in depth in other ones. So the great benefit of Kamino is the fact that you'll see this later on, but they manage everything. So when it comes down to the strategy, is we're using this concentrated liquidity, meaning that from a certain range to a certain range, trades will execute. And it ends up meaning that sometimes, the crypto you put in could be traded like 10 times in a week, as an example, and you're going to earn more fees. Of course, that can mean some downside. We're just going to have to see how this goes for us in this test. Now, there is a withdrawal fee of 0.1%, and there's a performance fee of 9.5%. There's no deposit fee. So if we're going to be earning 91%, then basically you can take roughly 10% of that and take that away. So essentially, so you can take basically 10% of that and take that away. So we're not all of a sudden falling down to 80%. We're taking basically 10% or just under of 91. So we're losing about 9.1% or a little bit less. Anyway, let's go and jump in. So I want to jump into this pool and other pools with $100. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to put 50 here. Actually, I'm going to go, 100. And then I'm going to click on auto swapped uneven amounts and deposit. And what should happen is the 100 USDC should be split equally into Solana. And then from there, it will put it into the protocol. So let's just wait for this transaction to go through. And I'm not going to be speeding this up. This is how long it takes. It's still very, very fast. The fastest blockchain. However, by all means, just skip this section if need be. Also, sometimes the transaction may not go through and you'll just have to try again. And if it's still persisting with a bit of difficulty, then what you can do instead, in addition to it, is just join the Discord and just open a ticket. All right. So it looks like we have deposited that there. We have the USDC deposited $54 and the SOL deposited 2.2. It wasn't exactly 50-50 because the way concentrated liquidity pools work is they're not 50-50. It's one is always a little bit higher depending on what the plan is. So our total earnings here, $0 thus far. But what we can also do is we can click on My Portfolio at the top. And we can see where this is our position. And it is estimated that we're going to be earning about $5.54 monthly. So we're just going to see how it goes. This is not terribly degen, but we only put in $100. So that was pretty good. Okay, so the next one that I'm going to show you is Raydium. We're not going to play with Raydium because actually what happened in with Kamino is if we go to vaults, it says who's providing like kind of the base infrastructure or the base liquidity pool. So sometimes it's Raydium, other times it can be Orca. As an example, if we went into this would be far more degen. This is Orca. So the next one we're going to have a look at is mentioned by Timeless Relic, and it's Lifinity. And this is quite interesting. I don't think it's going to be as good as Kamino, but we have to try it out in order to have an educated guess. So in this tweet, which I'll link below, basically talks about their pool being very, very efficient, and they earn a fantastic net annual percentage rate. The issue is we can't actually enter it. So I'll show you that shortly. What you need to do is get their token and you need to stake it. As it says here, at current volumes, the amount of trade that's happening, the staked Lifinity token earns you 11% on your capital paid in USDC each month. Parts of profits are used to buy back their NFTs and the token. There's no liquidity mining, just a protocol that distributes profits to token holders. So what happens with Kamino Finance, to go back, is we end up getting rewards, and why it's very, very juicy. So we get these great rewards, and most of the rewards come from this token. As you can see there, 75% come from Raydium. And this does not look very good at all, but if you go to Raydium, and if we have a look at all the pools, the reward comes from the Ray token, and the Ray token is less than $1, and it's had like an all-time high of like $14, and I had a lot of it, and it didn't work out well. So what happens is it takes the Ray token, and it auto-harvests it, and then it splits it back up into SOL and USDC, and it compounds the position. So that's why you have a growing amount, and at the end you're not left with just the Ray token. That is what is the deal with liquidity mining. So, okay, let's have a look here. So this is what they say to do. So let's jump on. So open Lifinity, and we'll open their link tree, and we'll go and dive in. And you can see I've got this position here with Kamino. All right, so let's launch app and connect the wallet. And unfortunately, they don't support Backpack, which I think is a bit silly. So for this one, we'll just connect our Phantom. And let's have a look at pools. Up the top here, we can look at Net APR and just toggle that on. So this is their V2 pool, and this is what they believe their net APR will be. As you can see, there's $184,000 worth of liquidity, and the volume in just a week is almost $20 million. So in one day, it's 1.7 million. So it's almost 10 times the amount of liquidity in there, which is very, very good. If we click on deposit, it will not give us the option because this pool is currently full. And essentially what happens is Lifinity, they own the liquidity in the protocol. They earn a portion of the fees, which goes to their team, and then the others go to, as you know, buying the tokens and stuff like that. So if we have a look at rewards, I think it is, this is where we can lock up our Lifinity balance. I'm just going to do $100 once again. We'll see what we get in terms of rewards. I definitely don't think it's going to be as juicy for me. Plus, I want to be holding Solana and USDC. The Lifinity token, this is it here. Normally, I'd look down at the all-time high and the all-time low, but I do have a feeling that I don't think it actually peaked at that particular peak. And same with this all-time low. I don't think it actually got there. And if it did, it would have been nice, but there was no volume, so no one actually bought it there. What realistically happened, it was 49 cents, dipped down to 18, and it's up to 26. So maybe it will do well, maybe it won't. We can also see, though, it has a very small amount of trading volume, so it's not heavily coveted. People aren't really after it. But nevertheless, let's go and get some. So we could probably get this one of two ways. We could use the in-app swap here and whatnot, but I'm going to use dupe.ag. That way there's no fees, and I can show you a few more metrics. So this is an aggregator. It goes and grabs all the best prices from everywhere, and I'll show you a good example. Let's say we had $1,000 and we wanted to transfer it to Solana. We can see the best rate would be from OpenBook and a little bit from Raydium, concentrated liquidity market maker. And you can see moving down, it would be from Lifinity. If we change this to 10,000, we'll see who has the best. So now we're looking at 10,000 turning into $9,998. Let's try 100,000, just out of curiosity. You can see the difference between Lifinity and Orca is quite a bit, if you're going to be trading that much. No one should really be trading that much in one transaction, but the good thing with Jupiter is it shows you it's the best one. So quite often Lifinity will be very, very good, which means they're going to capture the majority of the trading fees, because Phantom's in-app swap, which will charge you a fee when you do these, but it will go via this. But it's still better to come to Dupe. If you're going to do like a large trade, I would do it here. If you're just doing like $10 or $20, I think Phantoms, should capture some of the revenue, but entirely up to you. All right, so we're going to go and we're going to get some Lifinity tokens. We can either just buy the staked version or just get this one, but I'm just going to show you how to stake it. So we'll get $100 worth. And this is, of course, through Lifinity. Okay, so we're going to see if we actually get 11% return on this, because if we have a look at Kamino Finance, we're still not holding the tokens that we're after. I think it was like $5 from memory for a month. Does that sound about right? It is very good that Kamino has this kind of built-in education though. So this is $5.54, and this person's tweet said 11% on your capital paid back in USDC each month. I don't know. I don't know if that's going to be the case. It depends on volume, depends on a few metrics. It seems just quite high, so we'll see how we go. Let's connect our wallet, Phantom. We will lock this. So I'm not sure, like I don't want to lock it for that long. I'll have to do a bigger deep dive to work out how much. Let's just lock it for like 50 days for now. 52 days. Well, okay, so this down here gives me my Lifinity balance, 13. Again, if I lock it for longer, I get more. Okay, so that's quite interesting, because if we come back here, if I go to Lifinity, we've got staked Xfinity. Okay, so I'm going to have to deep dive on this further, but we're not going to stake it for 4 years. We'll stake it for like 52 days. See how it goes. Lock that up. Approve the transaction. And this would be a good thing to see how much we earn. Okay, so the next one we're going to go to is Orca. So this is orca_so. And we'll just click on this link here, which is about, but from here we're just going to click on liquidity. So we can see, there's a decent APR here, and some of them are even higher, I think. What I want to do is I want to filter by token, so I'll just type in Sol. Let's see what comes up. As we can see, it's 90%. So this is as good as we're going to get. So if we just go connect our wallet, we'll go back again, put in our password, has a little wee walkthrough. So you can see you have to choose your strategy. Do you want to be high yield and divergence loss, requires frequent rebalancing? Kamino will do that for you. A low yield and divergent loss, less frequent rebalancing. So if it stops going out of this range, then you won't get anything. So if you're going to go for active, what you want to do is like set a reminder. If it falls below that point or goes above, you'll need to go in and change it. I'm going to do this one here. So I want to do like 50, and then it's going to require that, but I just want to end up with 100. And I was hoping that it would allow me to kind of auto swap for me. All right, so it's basically, we will get approximately another $50 or so. We'll try and make it pretty accurate. Move that into Sol, swap, and approve. So this is going through Raydium, so that we'll be getting a little bit of fees on it from our Kamino pool. Okay, so back to Orca for this one. Okay, so we want that to be slightly higher, so 5. There we are, that's basically $100. Preview. So this estimated APR is 31%. It said it was going to be like 90%, so disappointing, but we'll see what happens. All right, our deposit is complete. Now what happens here is we're given a Whirlpool NFT. If we look into our wallet, do not burn this. If you're going to give it away to someone else, then they get your liquidity position. So it's pretty cool idea, but that's what that is. And then if we go to liquidity in our portfolio, we can see this here. We can see we're earning in yield, we're in range, we have no yield at the moment, and this is our estimated APR. Next one we're going to go to is Tulip Protocol. So this is Tulip Protocol, and the website's tulip.garden. Let's launch the app here. It says we have paused new leverage position creation until on-chain liquidity stabilizes. Should be fine. We should be okay. Go with backpacking in, and we'll connect. We're going to go with a strategy vault. And we're going to have a look at the yearly APY. I'm pretty sure this is a bug because the daily APR is not going to be 6,871%. That would be fantastic. Plus there's nothing in this particular. Oh no, there is money in this pool. Okay, well, pretty sure that's a bug, so we're going to skip that. I also don't necessarily think that this is accurate at 300%, but this is what we're going to go with. Now, this here is staked SOL, so that's like the Lido staked Solana and USDC. We'll jump in. This has a platform fee and a controller fee. So it's basically 10% of your rewards will be taxed or taken as a fee. Okay, so unfortunately, this pool is rebalancing, this is rebalancing. So we're going to skip them. We're going to go with MSOL and USDC. So it says I can auto swap, so I'm going to go with 100 and let it do its thing. Approve the transaction. All right, the funds are now locked in there, and we'll see how we go. That's our first kind of foray into DeFi on Solana. If you have any questions, let me know below. We'll keep an eye on these pools, and then I'll go through each protocol as I do more research. Thanks very much for watching. We'll see you in the next video.